careful. You might learn something.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Factual Opinions Podcast with your hosts. I am Pharaoh. Straight facts.
What's up, world? Factual Opinions Podcast. This is season 5, episode 6. We're calling it Paid in Full. Them invoices better be full. It's your host, I am Pharaoh, checking in with the Brown, Bruce Wayne, Big John.
Yes, sir.
Will West, the best Nate.
You know it.
On the eve of what is a man-made holiday in the city of Cincinnati, opening day, we're going to be out and about. Nate will be down there. Me and Big John will be down there. Me and Big John going to be in the game. So keep your eyes on the TV. You might see us out in the outfield making noise and snagging a home run, hopefully from the good guys.
Right.
A lot of things I want to talk about today. We didn't have an episode last week. So first, I want to start out by giving a shout out to the Aiken Falcons for becoming state finalists. They made it all the way to the state championship game in Division III here in Ohio. Came up just short. What was it, a 2-point loss?
2-point loss.
2-point
Yeah,
loss, man. They were down by 20 and fought all the way back.
Yeah. What I want to say first and foremost, as a Cincinnati Public Schools graduate / survivor, as I like to say, I'm very proud of Aiken for the run that they made. Anytime I see a CPS school even come close to making noise, winning a regional, final, getting to the state championship, TAF won, a few years back. That was awesome. But I'm just tremendously proud of those kids. I know they don't want to hear it now because, they lost and they're probably still heartbroken about it. But again, shout out to the Aiken Falcons for making a run all the way to state and coming up just short. You represented the entire Cincinnati public, all of us that grew up within Hamilton County, actually in the city limits. We are proud of you. We have a bond, with you, even if we went to different schools and CPS. We want to give a shout out.
Shout out to Coach Black.
Right, for sure.
Did a great job with them boys. He did amazing, man. Just because they almost had an undefeated season. Ended up running into Trotwood on the last game and losing by 2. But they got their revenge in the tournament, beat them by 20. So that's how you get your get back. When you get you want to avenge your own loss, your one loss. That's how you do it. You embarrass them.
Yeah, man.
And the big championship game itself was beautiful, man. I kept wanting to turn it off because I kept getting disappointed, but then they kept fighting back, so I had to keep it on the whole time, man. They played their hearts out, man.
Yeah. Well,
shout out to Lil James too, man. He was on that team. I coached Lil James when he's in from 3rd to 4th grade, whatever. But shout out to Lil J. He did great. And I give him all his well wishes for his future plans in basketball success.
I just think it's amazing when the school year starts. I didn't know that Aiken had that much talent, but all of a sudden they get on a run and become, again, one of the premier teams in the entire state, making it to the state championship. It's amazing, and I don't think guys locally have been getting the credit that they should have because the basketball has always been kind of, tremendous here in this, area. But as of late, we had Mike Pilgrim from Winton Woods, last episode. I was talking to Cam, was assistant coach over there at St. X, man, all over this landscape. Basketball and hoop is taking the forefront. We know we got little brother James over there at Woodward, trying to do the turnaround. So I want to shout out everybody locally that's involved in high school basketball. And, of course, our resident recurring host, I don't want to forget about him, Brother Will Johnson, head coach of the Schroeder Jaguars as well.
And while you mentioned Winton Woods with Brother Pilgrim, and they girls brought home the state championship too. So congratulations to them young ladies for bringing
and
that
so
home.
did Purcell.
Yeah, Miss D and the gang made history, winning 4 straight.
4 straight is crazy to me. 4 straight is crazy.
And she's taking her talents to the University of Cincinnati next year. Going to give a big boost to the UC women's program. So shout out to D. I remember when I was, if I recall correctly, D was a
Freshman.
freshman when I was coaching football over at Purcell. I remember seeing her in the gym and asking who that was because she's definitely different.
Definitely. She's a
Yeah.
different breed, a different basketball player as far as girls. She's an outstanding athlete. Shout out to Trey Dees for working with her and his Easy Sports management team, helping her get a Neal deal over there as well.
Neal deal, name, image, and likeness has crept into high school.
Nice.
I know, right?
Man, imagine us having a deal, bro. I grew up in the wrong era.
Man, definitely was in the wrong era.
You know what, Big John? No, I can't because all we needed was another distraction for us.
That's fine. That's fine. At least I had a distraction with a buddy in my pocket.
Yeah, that's just the facts. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to put none of our teammates out, but it would have been, look, we deserved it, but it would have just been interesting to see what we did with a little money in our pocket.
Oh, nah, some of them, and I use this term loosely, some of them criminals, you couldn't do that with them. You couldn't do that with them.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I'd have been all right with a Neal deal. I'd have been at one of the worst basketball schools where we didn't win games, but it'd been good to have a Neal deal.
It gave us social media neither. Like, you know,
yeah, it wasn't.
The Twitter wars and the verbal sparring.
I think it was nothing but Black Planet back then.
In between games would have been crazy. Right.
Black Planet and Cincy Peeps.
Black Planet and urban chat.
I knew John was gonna say it. I knew John was gonna say
it. Urban chat. I ain't never used no urban chat. I was a MySpace Black Planet fool though.
I don't want to get
urban chat wasn't for sports. It definitely wasn't for sports, but it was.
Oh no, that definitely wasn't for sports. It wasn't for sports at all. Definitely wasn't for sports.
Right. Yeah, big. Yeah. I'm gonna let you off the hook, big guy. Anyway.
Paid for a lot of minute cards back in my day.
Yeah, oh yeah, you was a champ then. You was a definite champ.
Hey, bro, it happens, bro. It happens, bro.
You see, I'm remaining silent. I'm not.
I hear you.
I'm not putting myself out there.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't. No, I was a Black Planet in MySpace guy. So
you know what? I bet the love of my life on Urban Chat. So I'll just go ahead and say it.
Right.
I really did. At least I thought at the time.
I ain't mean nothing like that on there, but I'm messing up.
Now you trying to make me say something, Big John.
Oh man. I'm weak.
Oh man, I'm weak.
All right, so we're gonna change the subject. So the big news over the past few weeks here, at least locally, even leading up to opening day, was the Bengals reaching massive contract extensions and re-upping with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Now, we had a brother on last episode that was yapping like most people do. Man, they ain't got it. They can't do it. And I'm like, who told y'all that? Who told? Now, there's a difference between an organization not wanting to do it and not having it. And that's what I was trying to get across to people. Like, there was no situation where the Bengals didn't have it. Now, I tell you honestly what I thought was going to happen. I thought just because of the way that they were going about it, we were going to re-sign Jamar Chase. Everybody knew that massive extension, was coming. T. Higgins was going to play out on his franchise tag. We're going to lose him. Trey Hendrickson drama is unfolding exactly the way I thought that would right now as well. But they got 2 out of the 3 done. That's why, honestly, even though defense wins championships, I'm kind of not.
They shocked the world with that deal. I ain't gonna hold you. Shocked the world.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the right verbiage to use. It's not that I don't care if Trey Hendrickson gets signed, but I am being realistic that you can't bring everybody back.
That's a fact.
And a lot of the formulas that teams have been using is building their offense up while getting younger on defense, but you have to hit in the draft for that.
Yeah.
Because look at what the Eagles did. The Eagles got that first Super Bowl, they had veterans. They got some of them got let go, some of them went to other teams. They had to re-up on defense. They got younger on defense and brought some veterans in like Slay, and they did it again. So the Bengals can do that, but they just got to hit on draft picks. They got to get younger on defense, which they should have been doing anyway with some of the losses they had over the years, whether it be with Reader or, with a couple other guys that they lost, but they should have been did it. But now they have to hit.
I saw a graphic, and I'm mad that I don't have the exact stat anymore. The Eagles had, I want to say, at least between 5 to 8 guys on defense on their first rookie year contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning
and they have 10 picks coming up.
Meaning they hit on all their picks. So, I mean, there's going to come a time where they'll be in a situation where, like the Bengals are, where, those bills come due. But they went on and capitalized on it while they were in this situation. Yeah. That's what the Bengals, honestly, we should have did in 2021 when we made it to the Super Bowl. Some of that was out of our hands, but we, did not do what we needed to do to win that ball game. Ted said he was tricking our urban chat.
Hey, man. I mean, who wasn't? But, it is what it is.
Hey,
but
yeah,
man, the Eagles
that was different for me.
The Eagles hit, man. Whether you want to talk about Carter, Dean, the young man they got from Toledo, the shutdown quarter they got from Toledo, Cooper Jean, they hit on 5 or 4 guys.
Bro, they have 10 picks in the next 3 years.
And then some of the younger guys that wasn't playing up to par, like Big Davis, he came to play this year. He was balling this year, so. They got younger on defense and did it.
What's the other guy from Georgia, the defensive lineman that they drafted last year?
The one that got in trouble.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, but they got Carter, Big Davis, and I forgot the other gentleman, but it's brain fart right now. But yeah, man. And then a lot of guys that they had for sure.
It was, hold on, I'll be able to tell you. Hold on.
Will said the Bengals always resign their stars, though. That was a false.
Jalen Carter was last year.
Yeah, Jalen Carter. That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, but I said Carter.
Will, it was always a false narrative, but you know how the national media likes to pile on, and we don't make it easy on ourselves sometimes with the amount of time that the Bengals take to get certain things done. Now, yes, they took their own time to do it, and ultimately they got it done. So that's the most important, thing. But, sometimes it does feed those narratives. But it wasn't, like I said, my whole thing was I knew Jamar Chase was going to get done. Because if you look at the history, like you said, of re-signing, the stars are the star. You're going to re-sign Chad. You're going to re-sign, AJ. There was a point in time where they re-signed Corey Dillon and Carl Higgins. Yeah, they're going to get that guy, but are you going to get the other guy, the Hushmanzada, the Marvin Jones, done? Are you going to keep Takeo Spikes and Brian Simmons on the defense at the same, time? And this time the Bengals actually did put their money where their mouth is, and they re-signed both guys at the same, time. Now, a lot of that heat came from number 9, also one of his guys, back and being public about it. But I think the fans had something to do with it also this time. Like, there was a large contingent of people, myself included, that made it very obvious that we wanted T. Higgins back.
Yeah.
And when your franchise quarterback say, look, get this done,
you can't keep running around it.
You don't want another Carson Palmer situation, especially with Joe Burrow. You don't want another Carson.
See, Joe is different because Carson was a lot more, he gets a bad rap, and maybe justifiably so, maybe not. If you really want to know about the Carson Palmer story, watch his A Football Story on NFL Network. But he gets a bad rap. He went upstairs a few different times before he ultimately, walked away and said, "Man, I can't do this anymore." Now, I will say that Joe has probably a lot more pull and would do so a lot quicker than Carson if there wasn't a team built around him and they were not obviously showing signs of wanting to put together a championship contender, because these guys are a little bit different. Did everybody see Uno's first purchase after getting his new deal?
Nah, what'd he get? Nah, I didn't see.
He got a Lambo.
Yeah, Lambo.
I gotta send you the video because he deserves it 100%. Whatever he wants to spend his money on. But even I was watching it like, bro, if I was Katie,
I'd be a little bothered.
I'd be like, is this what we just re-up?
You just paid for that.
He down there racing Lamborghinis and stuff, and I'm like,
but man, them LSU guys is different, man. Look at his brother up in Minnesota; he's spending his money like that too. So you knew it was coming.
Yeah,
not even the purchase, Big John. You got to see the video to understand what me and Nate talking about.
It's like, oh my God, what have we done? Type of video.
Well, you waited too late. You should have been did it. That's your fault.
I would just be watching it like, look, man, I hope this fool don't get into no accident.
Yeah. The way they was driving crazy, you was like, oh no.
Right.
Playing speed racers stuff.
Well, they quarterbacks buying Batmobiles, so hey, he ain't no better.
That's a fact. The Batmobile ain't slow itself either.
Ted said, side of Tyler Boyd before AJ Green prompted this. AJ was pissed franchise tag, pretended to be hurt. I have to disagree, brother. I don't think that AJ was pissed at all until the very end when the Bengals made it, clear that they were just moving on from an age and injury standpoint. AJ wanted to retire as a Bengal. Technically, he did, because even after that 2-year stint with the Cardinals, he signed that 1-day contract as a Bengal to make sure that he did. I mean, I didn't like the way the AJ thing played out, and I still don't like the way the Bengals fans talk and disrespect him. In my opinion, to be honest, but looking back on it, it was just a business decision. I think had he not gotten hurt up there at what was that? Was that Welcome Stadium?
Yep. That old bull. Yeah.
Had he not gotten hurt up there, it would have been a completely different scenario on how his career ended. Joe Burrow wanted AJ to stay here, but even I have to be honest and say that, at that point, no, he wasn't the same AJ Green. Now, could he have been targeted more and they actually tried to feature him? Yes, because there was some of that going on, and I don't want to get into that and talk.
And that last part of your sentence saying he pretended to be hurt, some of that they set him. Because if you have
they sat him towards the end of that season.
You have the chance to break Randy Moss's record, because Michael Evans broke it, but before Michael Evans broke it, literally AJ Green had a chance to break that record, and they set him because they would have to pay him. But on top of becoming the Bengals' all-time leading receiver, because he would have passed Chad had he played them couple games.
I don't think AJ faked it. What I'm speaking of up there, welcome, because I knew some people up there dating that were at that, practice, and that was very serious ankle injury.
They thought it was career ending.
First of all, being a high school player playing at Welcome is treacherous. We hated playing up there in high school, and they still ain't changed that field since then. So that should tell you something. Why NFL players was playing on it, I do not know. But
that whole NFL 100 thing and trying to connect back with the community in smaller areas where a lot of the teams started at and stuff, which was still relevant because, we actually started where we still play in Cincinnati in 1969. Now, if you want to take the, Packers back to Acme or the Bears back to, I forgot what little town in Illinois where they actually started, that makes more sense. But we didn't have any business practicing at Welcome Stadium
at all,
to be honest. And then, like I said, it just became one of those things where you're going to decide with the younger guy. Tez mentioned, Tyler Boyd. I do think at that point, man, it was more important to keep Tyler Boyd. And you got to remember, for what, a 2-3 year stretch at the very least, man, we had the best receiving core in the NFL.
Yeah, because they was all in the top 10 in receiving, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and part of the reason they were all under the age of 28, in their prime, together. Like I said, I was a proponent really of keeping, AJ, but I mean, it got to the point where honestly the team was showing you that they weren't featuring him anymore. They weren't necessarily trying to target him. I know down the stretch that last year Joe tried to, force the ball to him a little bit because he wanted AJ to be more involved, and it wasn't working. Just plain and simple for
Nah, it
whatever.
wasn't.
Whether it was game planning on purpose, which I do believe there was some of that, going on where he wasn't being targeted. Because there were plenty of times where he was open and the ball wasn't going, his way. A lot of it was he wasn't the same player anymore, and it just didn't fit. But no, I'm glad that they got the deals done. It was something that needed to be done internally within the organization to show players that they really do value the guys that have put in work and starred here. Also, it was something that needed to be done for us fans to reassure us and the faith that we have in the organization. And yes, most importantly, to shut the national media up. I love that video that they made trolling
Yeah, that
everybody
was dope.
who said that we couldn't do it. And I'm just looking at people like Shannon Sharp and them sitting on there talking about, I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but like any other team does, you sign them and you get it done.
Right. And we know, I mean, we have, and I hate to say this, like, we know the Bengals have a history of being cheap. That don't mean they ain't got it. There's a lot of people that's cheap that got it that just don't spend it. Now, I'm glad they did to show people otherwise that they can. But yeah, man, like, it was inevitable. They was gonna get it done.
I mean, and there are other organizations that don't get talked about nearly as much that maybe, I guess you could call it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit. They've been talking about us for the last 10 years, as far as us being an organization and how we don't do things right. So for this is like the first time, I'll be honest, that we've shut them up. We've shut the media up for the
It
first
ain't the
time.
first time, man, because when you re-sign Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap and AJ Green and Leon Hall and Andrew Whitworth and
Right.
Chad and Carson, it's not the first time that they've done this. It's the first time that they've re-signed the other guy, like I just, mentioned that second guy.
That's what I'm speaking of, Al. I'm not speaking of just signing superstars.
But I mean, a lot of the media for the past, like you said, for the 10 years, we've been in the spotlight because Marvin changed the narrative about the Bengals. We started winning, even though he didn't win a playoff game. We got more in the spotlight. And nevertheless, like you said, people want to keep piling on what old guys that still think this is the same Cincinnati Bengals, like Keyshawn Johnson and other people who can't get out of their era when the Bengals were bad. This is not the same team.
All I'm going to say, Tez, to that and counter that with is exactly what I said. How come Boomer Esiason never called the Bengals cheap? How come Carson Palmer never called it cheap? How come Willie Anderson?
Mike Brown wasn't running them when Boomer was there?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
Oh,
yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, he was.
I did not know that.
The original Mr. Brown died in August of 91. Boomer
so he took over. That's right. Okay.
Boomer got drafted by the Bengals in 84, 85. But I mean, even he made a comment about that. He said, yeah, the first part of his career, he was under the original Mr. Brown running stuff. But no, he was definitely there when Mike took over and things changed, shall we say. But I'm saying Anthony Munoz never called him cheap either. Like, their stars always got paid. What I'm hammering home and keep going back to is the second guy, or what Carson Palmer phrased as, are you going to make that last move to get you over the hump? That's what the issue was. Now, that I will agree, the Bengals never made that extra move. And even when it did, sometimes it didn't work out. Like when we signed Antonio Bryant, and he was supposed to go along with Chad Johnson and T.O. that year. And he gets hurt in training camp and never plays it down for the Bengals. And they lose the medical dispute that he filed where they had to still pay him for that. That's the behind the scenes stuff that people don't know that goes on. And I'm not defending them, but by the same token, I'm just putting out real information as to why they are hesitant sometimes with the guaranteed money and signing, certain individuals, because the Bengals have had bad luck with that. Now, when they resign and retain their own players, they typically do produce. And this is what most players will go ahead and agree with. You sign a deal with the Cincinnati Bengals, you have a hell of a lot better chance at finishing your contract than you do with other organizations in the league. That much is fact, because a lot of other teams, you look at these contracts and you say, oh, he signed for this and this. How much is the guaranteed money? How old is
Last time y'all seen grape jelly. I know I'm off track. My bad.
Maybe go in there and get the goobers with the peanut butter in there with the
Oh, you got some of them joints?
got it in there.
Yeah, you got to get that when you first open it, because you let it go past, that shit come hard as a rock. Pause.
That's my point, Tez. Like there's certain players and there's certain positions that the Bengals will cash out on. Like and one of them that I want to bring up, safety will never be that position. I know Brother Solomon Wilcox personally. He's a mentor of mine. I still think he's probably the second or third best free safety of all time in Bengals history. Definitely behind, Jesse Bates. But like Jesse Bates was the best, worst kept secret. Like, knew that was not going to happen. Like everybody knew it. Like he was going to have to go get his bag everywhere. And shout out to him for balling down there with the Falcons. But safety is just one of those positions that the Bengals
don't pay.
They don't value it.
They ain't paying.
Jesse Bates being picked in the second round was the highest safety that they picked since Mediu Williams back in the day. And the only reason they did that was because he was the extra second round pick from the Corey Dillon trade.
Right. And he was a good pickup too. I messed with Mediu Williams. He was
pretty good.
He saved a lot of behinds in his day playing safety.
Yeah, he did.
It's just one of those positions where they believe, like, they can get by with a plug and play guy, or max out at other positions and kind of just be average or okay back there. I mean, that's the reason why we had George Iloka for so many years at free safety. He wasn't bad, but he definitely didn't make plays either.
What was the guy from Notre Dame, Ndukwe? I couldn't stand it.
Yep, Ndukwe.
Ndukwe. And Ndukwe wasn't that good either.
The best part of the Bengals in today's NFL is the QBs are the new GMs. If you got enough pull, you can be. He gets some of the credit when it's going good, and he gets some of the credit when it's going bad. But the fact is, the Bengals do have a de facto GM now in Duke Tobin. He makes a lot of the decisions. I'm not going to go overboard and say that, he has total control, but
ain't got there yet.
Yeah, and that might only happen when I don't want to throw that out there. Yeah. Yeah. The things will have to totally change for him to have total control. But I think that's what he's being groomed to do right now.
For sure.
Geno. We missed on the Geno Stone thing. That was another one of those, hey, he had a good year. He might be on the upswing. He's, 26 years old or whatever he was at the time. Took a stab, just didn't work out, Nope. But speaking of didn't work out, I want to move on to, y'all know today was the pro day for the defending national champs, John.
I seen Mayan had a shirt on too, so I guess he was up there.
Man, John, I know it's been a while since
I ain't got nothing to do with that. What Prince say? I do not have a dog in this race. I ain't got nothing to do with
I know it's been a while since the championship swept through Dade County, so I just,
I mean, hey man, look, hey, I don't look until they prove something to me. You exactly right. I ain't got nothing to say.
football is football, right?
Oh, for sure.
So we know there's a lot of elite talent, as there is every year, up there at the Woody Hayes Athletic Facility. So all 32 teams were in representation and they're making an appearance. Now, here's the difference. And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, here you go with this Buckeye bias stuff again." Okay. All 32 teams were represented, but there were certain teams that sent their GMs and or their head coaches. One of them, head coaches in attendance, as he is every year at the Ohio State Pro Day, because he don't want the scouts representation. He doesn't want the GM. He wants to be there personally to see it because he knows Ohio State players fit his culture and his organization's team structure. Matter of fact, Mike Tomlin was there again. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there because I did have it confirmed that Duke Tobin was there for the Bengals, but Zach Taylor was not. Why is it that the Steelers and even the Browns can go to this pro day and have no problem drafting Ohio State players? The school that has produced the most first round draft picks all time, by the way.
And I think Pittsburgh gonna draft an Ohio State kid in the first round.
Look it up if you don't believe me. Boy, I hope Egbuka does not end up well, they don't have anybody to throw the ball to him right now, so it would matter.
They need a quarterback.
They lost Justin Fields and
Russ.
Oh, I need you to start tagging people for me, Nate.
Well, to answer your question, brother Alex, some coaches have they guys, for years. Marvin was, Georgia, SC, Michigan. He got a couple kids from most state, Florida. Then was his school coaches.
Yeah, that was at the very end, though.
Yeah, a lot of coaches have their schools where they USC, USC, Georgia, Florida, LSU. Those were the places he wanted to get guys from. A sprinkle of Michigan guys with Hall and the rest of them, Perry. But coaches got schools and systems that they like going to.
Okay. And Zach mentioned that last year when one reporter got bold and asked him, why do you keep drafting kids from Ann Arbor and overlooking kids from your state capital just 2 hours up the road? And of course, he gave the politically correct answer that, it's not that we are intentionally trying. It's just like you said, Big John, we have programs or guys that we love, drafting, from because they fit the culture or produce certain athletes that we think fit our, system and yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm going to do what I've continued to say on here, and I don't care who it pisses off. If you say I'm being biased, that's fine. When your Buckeye representation was high and the roster was littered with Buckeyes, you made it to a Super Bowl and to another AFC championship the following year. When you started drafting from Ann Arbor.
Hey, I'm with you. Like, football is football. Get the best player available wherever school he goes to. I'm
just saying that, like, regardless of whether I like them or not, I'm being honest. Like, I'm not saying it even has anything directly to do with it. I'm just saying what has happened since you started focusing on drafting from Ann Arbor. The results have not been the same.
Yeah.
And again, it's not hard, particularly on defense, to look good over, a 3 or 4 year span when it's been proven that you cheated and knew what was coming in most instances, even if the players weren't aware. And I'm sure they probably weren't. It's not like the coaches went and told them what they were doing and, because it would have leaked out a lot sooner if that was the case. But I'm just saying, like, for the Bengals to be fooled by that and really think, oh, well, we got to draft from Michigan. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Coward.
Yeah, but you gotta do your homework when you draft it, man. And like I said, the best player available is the best player available. Get who fits your system, but don't keep if you're not hitting and you have certain guys that you want to go get and you're not hitting on them. Stop going there. It's not. It is what it is. Now they may have a player like I said. I think Big Jenkins had a good year. He was from Michigan, but they're not hitting. But even if you look at teams like Georgia, you might as well call not Georgia, Jesus. You might as well call the Eagles NFL Georgia. They got 8 or 7 guys from Georgia the past couple of years, and some of them hit, some of them didn't, but they got a Super Bowl out of it. So you got to do your homework when you draft him, man. That's one thing I will give Marvel credit for. He hit on a lot of guys in the draft, man. I can only name about 3 that he probably didn't hit on. That's really about it. But you got to do your homework when you're doing that.
I wish Willie Wilson was here, too, because
He's getting ready for his wed.
he loves Russ, and my whole thing with that was I wasn't saying that Russ was completely done. I don't even think he's completely done this year, but there is a ceiling with him at this point. Like, he's not going to elevate your team to the Super Bowl. He's more of, and some people would say he was always this, he's more of a game manager at this point in his career. Will he still every now and then have a Russell Wilson-esque, play where you say, dang, that was nice, Russ, or because, he's seen everything that a NFL defense can throw at him at this point? Yeah, he'll have a couple of those moments, but he's certainly not the Seattle Russell Wilson at this point.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
And the Steelers wouldn't have let him walk out the door so easily if he was that, or they thought he was that still.
I don't think he can throw over 50 yards, to be honest.
Nah, he can do that. Deep ball, what he do? Now, anything underneath, it may be a pick, but deep ball, what he do?
I just don't understand why
we didn't see it in Pittsburgh at all.
You did.
Maybe twice. I don't see two.
He threw a few deep balls, but my thing is, I don't understand why they were so eager to let Justin Fields walk out the door.
Yeah, that was crazy work.
You traded for him last year. You put him in, and he started 4-2, and I definitely thought that he got yanked for no reason. I mean, I understand the thought process. You have Russ there. He comes back from injury. You're looking for the experience, a guy that can put you, over the hump. But you acting like Justin Fields didn't perform.
Right. Do you think it was more Justin Fields felt that and he didn't want to come back more so than wanting to keep him?
Yeah, there was definitely that. Like, you guys pulled me, so why would I, come back and try to say? But I don't know how hard or aggressively the Steelers even, tried. I think they appreciated what Justin did, but at the end of the day, with you doing what they did last year, that showed me that they just didn't feel like he was their guy. Now, the Jets were aggressive in Aaron Glenn. Like, they wanted Justin Fields. Like, they all but assured him, the starting job. So they went, and got him. So I would, definitely lean towards the team that's showing me that they want me versus team where I already was there and they're like, we don't really know.
Right. Right.
So at the end of the day, I think there are about 15 draftable guys from the Buckeyes. I know this as far as it relates to the Bengals.
Okay.
I don't care what school they come from, but we need to draft at least 2 or 3 pass rushers, in this draft. You all right over there, Brother Nate, man?
I think we'll get. I'm trying to think. I'm looking up the guy. I'm looking up the young guy that I'm looking at the phone. I'm looking up the young guy that this prospect.
Well, while you looking that up, I will name a few different guys that I'm. There was the kid from Marshall that everybody was talking about, but I'm iffy on guys that play at that level of competition. Listen, the Khalil Macks are few and far in between.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's his name, Michael Williams from Georgia. He's an edge rusher. I don't know if he'll be there.
Well, there's him. There's James Pierce from Tennessee, who I posted that
Yep.
video on the Factual Opinions website. Ran that 4.5.
Abdul Carter, but he'll probably be at 1
Oh,
or 2.
Bill Carter ain't gonna make it past
Yeah,
the
he
top.
ain't making it
Yeah,
past
he
the
ain't,
first 3 picks.
Nah. There's the defensive tackle from Ole Miss. But I think with the Bengals signing my man from Green Bay, I need to look it up. Actually, I'll go ahead and do that.
Donovan Zaruku. Where was he out of? Donovan Zaruku. Is that the one out of Oregon? What is his name?
I don't know if he'll be there, man, but that tackle out of Missouri's a dog. I don't think he's gonna be there either, but
no, I doubt he'll be there.
He a dog.
He on a couple people list above us.
He a big guy. He about 325, and he one of them.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
One of them Trent Williams athletes, bro. He ridiculous.
Yeah, it's quite a few linemen that's available.
With the Bengals signing TJ Slayton to a 2-year deal away for the Green Bay Packers, I don't know that they'll draft a defensive tackle in the first round, but there will be guys available in the second and third round too that can come in and contribute right away. I'm not just saying this because they're Buckeyes, but all I'm saying is if Captain Jack is there in the second or third round, you got to go ahead, pull that trigger, so to speak. If JT,
hopefully he there, that's a big hope.
Well, he's gonna shoot up boards, especially because of the way he played in the playoffs. But I always mispronounce his last name, but JT Tuimoloau, yeah, is another one. But it's not just Buckeyes. Like I said, this is a deep draft for pass rushers, and I'm saying like we could certainly double down in that area. But I've seen in a lot of mock drafts lately where they have the Bengals also potentially selecting a corner in round 1. Would not be upset at all if they did that.
No, not at all. That's where we hurt. We hurting right now at the corner position.
I disagree, Brother Tez. I feel like this year there are going to be pass rushers available, and I'm talking
Genty won't be there.
Starting level pass rushers in the second and third round. Like, this is a deep draft for that.
Tez, I would agree with you if this was 20 years in the past. The way they have downgraded the running back position, yeah, I wouldn't waste that on Genty. Even though Genty is a dog, nah. You can get somebody that could tote the rock in the later round.
He won't be there.
He won't be there. He may be there at 17, but he probably won't. But if he is, he's gonna be the only running back that's
Dallas Cowboys will go ahead and pull the trigger on
Genty.
Yeah, if he's there.
But that ain't even smart because they got way more holes than a running back. But that's
why ain't that smart?
Why ain't that smart? They ain't got no running back. Dooley wasn't, whatever his name, wasn't that good.
Offensive line is terrible right now.
They have nothing in the backfield right now.
They have nothing to block for him.
I won't say nothing. It's not the same elite.
And Zach Martin, their best Hall of Fame lineman, just retired. Defense is Swiss cheese.
Okay, but
the defense was hurt. We got to admit the defense was hurt.
They still was Swiss cheese, bro. But anyway, go. We get off topic.
Offensive linemen, you can find, I would say, probably through the first 4 rounds, if you get lucky and you've really done your scouting, that you can plug in and start in some cases. But they're not going to recoup all of that at once anyway. What I'm saying is you can't get by. And y'all know me, I know most of this, but even me being the football guy, I can't remember the Cowboys. Was it Rico? What was his name last year? I don't even remember their starting running back. Obviously, you're not bringing Zeke back because, unfortunately, he's over the hill as far as running backs are concerned and the wear and tear. They don't have nothing. Was it Rico Dowdy or something?
Yeah, Dowdy. Yep.
And
then they had that one boy they drafted the guy that was on their coaching staff's son, but they let him go.
They had at the time I could have made an argument that Zeke wasn't a need when the Cowboys, drafted him way back in 2015. But you see what it instantly did in upgrading the team. Yes, they had an offensive line, John, as you mentioned, in place at that point. But you do need a guy that can make plays back there, regardless. And they don't have that right now.
I get it.
I mean, that running back room is Swiss cheese, but no, they'll and you'll see it when the draft starts. I mean, a lot of this info is out there for you to look up now, but it's a deep class for edge rushers if that's what you want.
What you want to go for, yeah.
Now, I saw some mock drafts where now here's the one Michigan player that I won't be mad at if they pull the trigger on and go for this. So I saw a mock draft where Will Johnson was still there at 17. I'll take Will Johnson at 17. Now you want to say the best player available. If he lasts to 17, that is the best player available at 17. Because we were talking about minus, him getting a little nicked up last year. We were talking about him being a top 5, some top 3, pick. Mm-hmm. And I've seen him play, and I know he's elite. And everybody's talking about the defensive line. Yeah, we got to replace Sam Hubbard, who didn't give us much last year anyway, because he was on, the downside. May have to replace Trey Hendrickson, but like I said, anyway, you're not going to do it with one player, especially Hendrickson. It's going to have to be multiple bodies.
It's going to be multiple people to do it.
And let's face it, nobody's talking about it, but our secondary was Swiss cheese last year.
For sure. Definitely.
Von Bell lost a step, so, he won't be back. Tez already mentioned it. The Geno Stone, signing didn't work out the way we anticipated. Cam Taylor-Britt is not a CB1.
Not at all.
He's great when you have somebody on the other side, of him, but he can't, be an anchor, corner himself. So that is a position of need, because I'm just going to be honest. I don't believe in Dax Hill or DJ Turner at this point. And very little of it has to do with where they went to school. Of course, I'm not going to totally remove that, but, it's just a I told you so thing. We've seen, Dax get moved from safety to corner to now.
He was all over the field, to be honest.
Let's put him in nickel corner at slot, because it sounds like Mike Hilton may not, be back. And again, from what I've seen, and that's my specialty, Big John. If nothing else, I can watch every position on the field, but I know my secondary. It's just not it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He was getting beat like he stole something, last year.
Off top. It was good
before he got hurt.
As soon as the hike happened. Out of there.
Big Cat, brother. Chris in the house. What's going on, brother?
What's going on?
What's up, big brother?
Oh, we got 230 Michi in the house now. He says y'all all look old and sleepy. Wait,
I'm tired. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Grown man problems, man. That's all.
Man, what?
Darkness.
Hey man, chill out, Smoke Dog, because I know you be on the same mess. I ain't trying to hear that.
You good, man?
You know what, man? I ain't even gonna lie, man. I'm trying real hard this this episode.
Everybody trying to keep their eyes open, like
I probably don't have the energy that I usually have. Plus, we gearing up for opening day
tomorrow,
tomorrow.
right?
So
I'm actually going to bed like it's the first day of school tonight.
Right.
I'll be in bed by 11 o'clock.
I'm gonna be faded. I ain't gonna lie. You know,
I'm about to go to bed at 11 just so I can be up early.
Yeah, I got my dark in the truck.
Meezy said, "Where is the love for the kickers?"
There you go.
What about them?
What love you want to get him? Because Money Mac ain't money no more.
Yeah, see that's funny. I'm gonna leave that alone. But go ahead.
I'm not jumping in on that one.
The other guy, he barely getting a check. So
listen, I understand the concern around Money Mac a little bit, you know, as compared to how automatic he was his first 2 years, but I'm not going the route that I've heard other Bengals fans online. Oh, take his, nickname away. He ain't Money Mac no more.
Well, he been lost that. He been lost that name.
Now look, okay. So he had a growing injury last year, which if that's going to affect everybody, but especially a kicker. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does this year before I, really.
But like we talked about, kickers is one of the positions, man. Once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. It's like you fall off a cliff.
But they didn't pay him some money.
Automatic 1 second, then once you lose it, it's like you can't hit water and fall out of a boat. So I don't know. Hopefully he gets it together.
They didn't pay him a pretty penny though.
He's okay. Mark my words. He's not done. And John, you're right. We've said this before. Kickers, you don't know you got a problem until it's a problem. Like
look at Tucker. Tucker been money for years. This past year, he was like, that ain't even the same.
Right, that ain't even
Kickers
him.
always do that though. Like they the only position that don't give you no warning. Like you just wake up one Sunday and they done lost it. Like
Tucker back there making 62-yard field goals. All of a sudden, he can't make a 30-yarder. I'm like, what's going on?
It's crazy work.
They say over the day about to be insane. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people post.
Man.
Oh, they ready.
About it.
They're ready. So, they're gonna be outside tomorrow.
I just was at Walmart and people in there just trying to scrape up something. Just trying to scrape.
Big John better be here on time, man.
Man, I'll be there on time, bro.
Smoke Dog. I thought we decided on nostalgia. I talked to you off the record on this. I thought we was gonna start a nostalgia. Well, I don't get off till 2:30 anyway. So I don't get off till 2, so I ain't gonna get down there till 2:33.
Be late.
Yeah.
So me and Big John are gonna be down there parked in the area already. So I know Holy Grail is gonna be thick. I know the MGM room is gonna be thick.
Mm-hmm. Everybody gonna be putting their bets in.
There's a lot of bars in walking distance, so you might see the kid everywhere. I got my bodyguard with me anyway, Big John. So it is what it is.
Yeah, man. We're gonna have fun, man. That's one of the perks of working for the school system. You can be off on these days. So.
Oh, y'all is on spring break, ain't y'all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know me, I don't get no
lucky son of a gun.
You know, I don't get no spring break for real because I got.
See, Chris said what I said. Like Money Mac was hurt.
I know he was hurt. I'm just giving him a hard time.
You know, this year we'll see. But all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, there still ain't too many more kickers that I trust more than him in the clutch. You know, he's made some really big field goals in his short time in Cincinnati.
For sure. That is definitely true.
Kickers are like that, man. It's like that hound dog that loses the scent all of a sudden. You ain't got it no more. Like, you just don't know.
Think he's sniffing food and he's sniffing the other stuff.
Right.
I ain't gonna say the word.
You know, the Bengals kind of slip rock with kickers, man. Whether it's Doug Pelfrey or Neil Rackers, they ain't got the they don't have a history of kickers, but I don't know.
And Doug Pelfrey was that dude, bro.
He was.
Till he wasn't. until he wasn't, and you already had that conversation.
He broke it.
John ain't gonna make it.
Here you go. But I'm gonna be there, man. I ain't got to work tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna be there, man. Go on, E, man.
Yeah, John ain't got that. Big John, you bet. I call you in the morning if I got to, bro.
I'm gonna be there, man.
I'm gonna be up at 6.
He gonna be there because he already paid.
I didn't pay for my ticket,
and it's in my phone, so he got to come to me.
I'm gonna be there. I didn't pay my money. What he said? I paid for taxes. I'm gonna be there.
He's got to come because I still got the ticket in my phone, so that's why I ain't gave it to him because John messed around and fall asleep.
Yeah, big Grizzly Adams, and want to take a nap in the middle of the day, and it's time to go.
That's what happens when you have Jamaican, bro. You gotta take your naps when you can.
Ridiculous. That's all I just want you to know, Big John, you are completely ridiculous.
I need this money right now, man. That's it.
I hear you, but you still go to sleep at a drop of a dime, no matter where you at.
That's because he working 4 jobs like Chicken George.
Hey, man. Get this money.
Get this money, huh? All right, Big John, man. Don't fall asleep at the game.
You know he is. You know he is. I don't even know why you even said that. You know he gonna fall asleep.
Only time I fall asleep, because y'all like boxing and them boxing events be up all night. That's the only time I fall asleep. I ain't never fell asleep in no sporting event.
You ain't fall asleep at the last one.
All right. I ain't fall asleep, bro. Them boxing
hey,
have about 4 or 5 cards.
I'm done with him. I knew as soon as he hit the door, I said, "Oh, okay, all right."
I just noticed.
I seen him when I hit the door, bro. John was way too fresh, bro. I said,
"Oh, he got plans tonight."
That was the first thing I said. I was like, "Bro, where you going?"
Grown folk business. That's what I had.
Can't even make it to the main event, man. Speaking of the main event, coming up. So we have Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney on 2 separate, cards, and if they win, they'll have their rematch.
No, it's the same card.
Well, I mean 2 separate bouts is what I'm
saying.
On the same card, and Ryan will be fighting the main event against Roley. Bill Haney, man, when he get to talking, bro, this bug talk like
you would have thought he was the fighter.
You gotta relax.
That's number one. And I understand, father looking at their son is never really going to be able to differentiate and be unbiased or whatever. But you be talking like your son Sugar Ray Leonard or something.
Man, you would have thought he was Floyd.
Your son got paws put on him the last time we seen him.
Yeah. And we still don't know how he gonna react after that because we ain't seen him since.
Well, we're gonna find out. There's a lot of fighters aren't the same. Because I know, Nate, me and you were talking about Big Baby Anderson, like not even looking close to himself in his first comeback since getting knocked out. And by the way, Joe Parker knocked that big long lummox looking mug out pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty easy.
People got to start giving Joe Parker his credit, man.
Joe Parker was never no slouch though. He ain't never been a slouch.
No, he hasn't been.
He just ran into the wrong giant at the wrong time.
See, because he was the first one aside from Tyson Fury to actually beat Deontay Wilder. And I think that was Deontay Wilder's like, all right, it's over fight.
Joe Parker, for sure.
Everybody talking about that big Mongolian dude that he fought. No, Joe Parker beat him before.
Joe Parker beat him.
And I should have placed a bet on that, but I guess my fandom for Deontay didn't allow me to do it. But something told me that Joe Parker was going to beat him that night.
Yeah, Joe Parker, he's probably one of the toughest right now. Now that Tyson Fury done sat down, I don't know who go step into that next spot.
Chris said, in regards to Cam Taylor, Britt, I'm not ready to give up yet. Bad safety play and Logan going down, having to trust Pratt to call the defense.
I would never trust Pat. That don't even go in the same sense.
I mean, we're not saying
that's what had to happen last year.
We're not saying Cam Taylor Britt is bad. He's just not your CB1. Like, it's okay. It's okay to be the number 2. It's okay to be, a Cromartie to a Reeves. It's okay to be the second guy to Richard Sherman. He's just not a CB.
No, I'm saying he's a great fit when you have OHSAA or another solid, corner number one on, the other side. But when teams are game planning and going after him in particular,
like he deer meat. Everybody going at him every game like he deer meat. Oh, there it is.
Because he doesn't have any help, as Chris is saying. Yeah, it exposed some things, but he was never, I don't think, at least drafted to be, a CB1. It's like when Eli Apple came in here, and I told people like he was meant when he originally came in to be at best a second, but probably on that team he was meant to be a third corner or alternate with Mike Hilton, but he got thrust into the starting lineup due to injuries. So there's a lot of guys that are gonna have to put up a show this year. Michi said, "Trust me when I say D coordinators make a huge difference. Golden about to have them boys looking good." I hope, for the sake of the Bengals and us as fans, but what I am going to stay and still stand by until proven otherwise, I still think Lou got scapegoated.
Lou was not the issue. You cannot
at all.
You cannot make a proper meal with no groceries, big dog. You can't.
Yeah, asking him to do.
You can't have a meal plan without the meal.
Here's now it's a slightly different example, but people understand where I'm going. So everybody, what they remember most about Mark Sanchez now is the butt fumble, and everybody talking about him, in that sense. But I clearly remember Mark Sanchez coming in as a rookie and his second year leading the Jets to 2 AFC championship games, one game away from the Super Bowl. And their reward to Mark Sanchez was to do everything that they could to change that team that was set up for him to have success. Oh, we're going to go out and get rid of Santonio Holmes and Braylon Edwards and ask you to do the same thing and make changes on defense and stuff and get rid of, Cromartie. No, like you can't ask somebody to produce the same by giving them, less. So I think Lou was scapegoated, but sometimes a different voice does help. A different scheme. He was there a few years ago on the staff as the linebackers coach. So, it is nice to have somebody with a different voice, but yet familiarity with the players and the system and what they're trying to accomplish. So that might work out, but I still think we need to feel the actual whole. Sometimes with the Corso always say, sometimes it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and Joes. Like you got to have the players to get the stuff done. So we got a lot of holes on defense. Kent said he definitely gonna take a nap if it's
man. But anyway,
I'm glad Kent know. I'm glad he know.
He just be talking stuff, man, because he been trying to get me to come out for the past 2 years and I've been busy, man. I'm gonna be there, man. I ain't writing on that.
Shout out to my brother Kent.
If
he coached everything. Girls basketball, softball,
everything.
Basket, everything.
Man, that's the 4th time coach of the year you talking about, man.
Yeah, that's 4-time coach of the year.
I won't go to sleep during the game, but
I'm gonna go to sleep at the bar, bro. Don't do that.
I have to base myself on the lead up, boy.
I'm gonna give you some advice. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Coast, my brother. Coast. Because you don't know how to coast. And we're going to have to get that in you.
Well, yeah.
Not too many coolers. Not too many spiked lemonades. Before you get to the location.
You see homecoming.
Coast, bro.
You see homecoming.
Yeah, man. Homecoming, you didn't survive for nothing.
Yeah,
we was 2 hours in.
Big bro. Ronnie was clouding me by the time he got over there.
It was 2 hours in, bro.
Right.
Man, I made it longer than that before I
2.5. I'll give you a half.
It was longer.
You ain't getting no more than 2.5.
We got there at 10 a.m.
We sat there. We didn't do nothing. We ate.
Well, that wasn't all I was doing. I was eating and drinking. So
I
I
was too.
I started
I
right
left
away.
after you.
I started right away.
Bruh, don't do that. I started when you started. We both sat our chairs down. We set up shop. I start pouring just like you start pouring.
Ted said, y'all tripping. These are professors. You can't score 35 plus in multiple games and lose. Lou had to find a defense scheme and get a stop.
We talking about the pieces though, Ted.
You gotta look what Lou did when he had the pieces versus when he didn't. You can't
Yeah,
say
it's
that.
a difference.
You can't say that. You lose the captain of your defense that puts everybody in the right place. Your secondary is trash. You have one decent pass rusher, and you have two new defensive tackles. What are you gonna do? And then the two new defensive tackles were injured at the beginning of the season.
Well, I'm trying to be patient because they were both rookies in McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins. But losing DJ Reader was big.
Yeah, that hurt. That really hurt. It still hurts.
Yeah.
That still hurts.
When you had BJ Hill and Reader, you didn't have to worry about that.
And even Hill missed some games, last year. Sheldon Rankins was non-existent, but again, I kind of told people I wasn't expecting, much from a 29-year-old, defensive tackle who Houston let go for that very reason because he had already played, his best ball. So, there were holes to fill. And to ask Lou to do the exact same thing, I understand, yes, he's a professional, but in my opinion, he did find more of a solution down the stretch, which allowed them to win out and almost sneak into the playoffs because he did make an adjustment, but it's still hard to do so. I mean, listen, I remember even being, defensive back coach at Purcell, and it wasn't just injuries, but okay, such and such got in trouble with school today. He can't play.
Can't play.
You can coach, but some guys got it and some don't. And even the great Tom Jackson used to say that about professional athletes. They would say that, oh, it's the pros, next man up. Yeah, it sounds good, but as Tom Jackson said, that guy was starting for a reason.
Right. And I hope Golden comes out and does this thing, but he's going to hit the same wall unless they hit on all their draft picks because he's going to have to rebuild that defense. That defense is going to have to be rebuilt. So
they're not going to hit on all of them. I mean, you kind of hope that they're not done in free agency and somebody becomes available or something. But, at the end of the day, they have to hit on, I would say, some key positions. Like, we have to come away this offseason with a starting corner to go opposite of Cam Taylor-Britt. And pass rushers, like I said, regardless of what happens with Hendrickson, he needs help. I've been saying that the past, few years because he's getting his ass whooped and double teamed and chipped and everything for the longest. Linebacker still a position I wouldn't overlook either. Now I know it's only two of them usually on the field at most nowadays, but if Pratt doesn't want to be there and his play kind of dipped, last year also, I'd be looking into that. So I'm just wondering, are there too many holes to fill with one, draft or off season, man?
Oh no, it's definitely gonna go into this season, possibly the next. They're not gonna get it all back on defense in 1 year. That's impossible.
Nah, yeah, it's gonna definitely be impossible. Not in 1 year.
And they may show spurts of improvement, but they're not gonna get it back in 1 year.
So who's going number one? Is it Cam Ward?
I mean, from what they say, even though they could be giving the smoke screen,
I think it's gonna be Cam, and like I said at the beginning, I think Shador is going to New York. Still. Even with Russell Wilson being there, I think he's still gonna go to New York.
But see, New York is one of them places where they'll sit back and wait for a quarterback. Like they'll go get the best player available, whether it's a pass rush or whatever. They'll wait. Now, I'm not saying that Shador wouldn't be cool there, but they'll wait. I think Cam Ward is going number one because from what the Titans talk about, they love him, and plus the Titans need a quarterback.
Yeah.
So
Will Levis, what is his name?
Levis.
Levis ain't it. He's definitely not it. Definitely ain't it.
Tannehill wasn't it either.
But the only sad thing about Ward going to the Titans, man, and I know that's the problem with any number one pick. The cupboard is just bare in Tennessee. It's just nothing.
Well, they got Zach's boy Brian Callahan as the head coach. Man, he'll figure something out.
Yeah, for sure he will.
Hopefully.
I'm being facetious when I say that, but at the end of the day, it does look like Cam Ward will probably be, the first overall pick to the Titans. I'm interested to see where Shador goes, man. If it's a lot of smoke screen or people actually hating on the last name on the back of the jersey and just trying to come up, with something. But Colorado's pro day is coming up soon, so he'll have, opportunity to throw. And
I think it's this weekend, ain't it?
But the scary thing about it is, why they hating on him, if he does drop, that means he's gonna go to an established team.
For sure. That's gonna make things a lot more dangerous.
And say he goes to somewhere like a Saints that got stuff around him, or go to somewhere that got players around him. It's gonna get ugly.
That's ideal. What I'm afraid of is Shador ending up somewhere like Cleveland.
We don't want him in Cleveland.
Or the Raiders.
I'd rather him go to the Raiders than Cleveland, because Cleveland
any day.
It's just bad. And
well, Big Tom is still part owner of the Raiders, so he could work with his former pupil in Shador, because he needs to do that. Because broadcasting does not seem to be.
I think Tom pretty good.
I think he did decent, man.
That's because you like Tom, so you saying that.
Here you
go. Everybody I know said
you keep saying that, and we've had this conversation. I respect Tom. It's not about me liking him. He's not one of my favorites.
So moving on from that, everybody I know has said that he bombed at broadcasting. So I don't know what you were talking about.
I don't think he bombed. I ain't think he was that bad, bro.
Okay, so. But
I prefer him than Tony Homo. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I can't say that. I'm sorry.
This is coming from a communication major, though. So I will notice things that other people don't, because I studied journalism.
What did you notice about him?
Well,
what did you notice? Give me a breakdown. I need to hear the breakdown.
Let me do it like this. So when Tony Romo joined the booth, right? What was his overall or most poignant criticism that people had when he joined?
Him being biased?
They're all biased. No. Okay, so little things. So Tony Romo sometimes talks too much and over talks. Even Jim Nance, or still talking as the play, comes about. Little things like that. Tom. And I hate to do this to him. I think a lot of it was first year jitters and trying to get used to the job. But Tom, how can I phrase this? I think sometimes he panics and he gets caught mid-sentence and doesn't know exactly what he wants to say, and it's more of a nervous thing, or I don't want to do that public. We can talk off air, because I really don't want to clown Tom like that, even though I hate his guts as a player. But I don't want to clown him in the same field that I'm in publicly, is what I'm trying to say. We can talk off camera about what I believe. And Ted said Tom was terrible, and his Charles Barkley boy.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this. Just like you, and like you get ready to you saying, like you don't want to tear him down. These are all the things that first year analysts go through that are former athletes. Everybody's done it. Chuck's done it. Kenny Smith did it.
You can't compare that though, because
no.
They do.
You ain't let me finish. it's multiple athletes because Nate Burleson was terrible when he first got on NFL as well.
Okay.
So it's
I
multiple athletes that have go through this, but then they become. We haven't even given Tom enough time
okay. Let
to
me
be
ask you
better
this.
than what he
Let me
is.
ask you this, and I was just saying it because he's annoying. I think Chris Collinsworth is annoying.
Yeah,
He
I
may
do
be good
too.
at what he does. He's just annoying.
Let me
Like,
do
Chris,
my,
and then Chris Collinsworth hates
do you
us.
feel like Chris Collinsworth is good?
Chris Collinsworth hates us.
let me do my Chris Collins. Here's a guy.
Yeah, he's annoying. He's very annoying. Like, bruh.
And he stole that from John Madden.
And like I said, man, he Bengals player, hometown
Come
guy.
on, Luka, 2 assists.
I
Come
get
on.
it. He's just annoying.
So yes, I think Chris Collinsworth is aside from his normal annoying catchphrases, yes, I think but he's been on TV forever. Like now.
Yes.
What Nate is talking about is something different though, because you've had guys come on for 1 year like Drew Brees and be a one and done and totally bomb. Truth be told, everybody thought old pretty face Tony Gonzalez, was just gonna be a slam, dunk on
He
NFL
was
on
terrible
CBS,
too.
and he wasn't.
Gronk need to go wrestle because he's terrible too.
Yeah, I don't think
That's why Gronk's not a main analyst.
Gronk needs to go wrestle.
You know who I do like? I do like.
They gotta do something because Jimmy retired. So,
but you know what's crazy? I felt so bad. This is another guy that just wasn't a good analyst, hell of a football player. But when Luke, and that's why he got off real fast. But Luke Kuechly was terrible.
Yeah, he was bad too.
And I love him as a football player. But when he was up there, I was like, ooh, yeah, he don't need to be there. You don't need to be there.
Come on, Luka. My bad.
See,
Your Lakers are up.
like I said, I don't want to do that because I'm even more harsh and detailed in what I look for because that's what I did. That's what I went to school for. That's what I do now. So I even had to catch myself sometimes because if it's not John Madden, John Gruden, Keith Jackson, the people we grew up watching, you do have to give these younger guys a chance, as Nate said, to develop and become that. But some guys just don't have it, man. Like,
what was the guy? I'm having a brain fart that used to do NFL, but then he went to Big Ten Network. That was my guy, the black guy. That used to do. He left. He used to do NFL, and then he went to the Big Ten Network. We talk about him all the time. They used to do NFL.
Is he talking about not Marcellus?
Charles Davis?
No, it's gonna come to me later on. But he used to do a lot of Bengals games. But he was on.
The dark skinned guy. I know
with the glasses.
Big
Ten Network. He left NFL and did a bit. It's gonna come to me later on. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Go ahead.
Anyway, while John looks that up, there are certain guys that just have it, and all of them don't have to be former athletes. Because who's the best college football analyst right now? Or excuse me, not analyst, play-by-play guy.
Al Michaels.
No, he doesn't do college.
No, he don't do. I'm sorry, he don't do. What's his name? Shoot, the black guy.
Gus Johnson.
There you go. Gus
Johnson.
Johnson.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
The Gus don't do Big Ten Network, bro.
But he left the NFL and he was on the Big Ten.
He's on Fox.
He does Fox basketball and then he does college football.
Yeah, he does college football on Fox. Because him and Joe Klatt, I don't care what nobody say. That's the best duo right now.
Bro, Gus Johnson, man. I watch him NFL games and that was dope, man. Like Gus Johnson had it. Man.
Gus can do all games like that because I remember when he first started and he was on CBS doing college basketball games. That man almost jumped out of his seat when James White dunked on Francisco Garcia.
Yeah, he did.
Back in the day. Like, that's what I'm saying. So I look at it like that. People that just, like have it. Like he's a natural at it. course, they still have to do their production meetings and everything, else. And sometimes they might read off a cue card or have something that's being said in their ear while they're on air. So I take it that deep because it's something that I love. So you have to know the ins and outs from a professional side, and then guys that can go off cuss and do their own thing, or like a Chris Berman, that's stuff you can't teach. You either have it or you don't. Right. Rumbling, stumbling, bumbling. or when Jerome Bettis or Mike Allstott would get the ball and he it's just little stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, Tom is a very intelligent dude. I don't know if it's his thing yet. I still don't believe it is. But
I just don't think we gave him time yet. That's all I'm asking.
All right. Keep giving him time. Well, let me ask you this. What about Joe Buck and Troy Aikman?
As much as I love Troy Aikman, he's annoying too. But he's been doing it.
Troy ain't bad though. Troy ain't.
Troy, I didn't say he was bad. I just say he's annoying. But
you just said every NFL athlete that is talking on media right now is.
I said two.
You said three. That's the third one you just said.
That's the second one. I said Collinsworth and him. That's two.
No, you just said Tony Romo.
Some people.
You said Tony Romo.
You said Tony Romo too.
Go ahead, bro.
Some people said that John Madden was annoying as well.
Well, I don't agree with that, but
I don't either. But I remember when Frank Caliendo was impersonating him, and he was like, "See," "See, Madden says stuff that you know already. Hey, that guy's got blood on his jersey." It's like, and you think about it, and it's like sometimes he would do that when he get the telestrator or whatever. Now, I love Madden because he had a way of making the complex simple.
He did.
And we all grew up on him and Pat Summerall.
Yeah, Pat Summerall was amazing.
Yeah, and Pat was so good without saying much.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it. It's say Aikman to Irving.
That's all it takes.
Right.
It's a flag on the play.
Like you said, man, the funny thing about Madden, man, is when he get that telestrator, he break down and run and play there. There's a block, there's a lane. It was just so dope, man.
Yeah, man. Or Marv Albert in basketball. Basketball has not been the same since Marv Albert retired.
You know who I do like? That's a player that does do commentary. I like Reggie. Reggie does good.
Yeah, Reggie's good.
Reggie's good. I low key like Stan Van Gundy too.
You want to talk about annoying? I think that Stan is annoying. I thought
his voice.
Yeah,
his voice.
Even though
his brother
Jeff was good.
I always thought Jeff Van Gundy
was good.
Even though he keep getting into situations, but Mark Jackson was always good at what he did.
What Mark done got into now?
Don't do that, Big John.
What he ain't got into nothing.
I'm not saying he got himself. You know what? Never mind. Go ahead. I'm not saying he got himself.
Now he deserves a ring for what Golden State got. I give you that.
Like that. He keep catching strays. But go ahead. But yeah, Mark Jackson dog. Man.
It ain't even about that, Nate. It's deeper than that.
Oh Lord, that's fine. We'll leave it there. Leave it in the dust.
Being blackballed by people every time he gets an opportunity, even in the broadcasting world at this point.
Yeah, this nigga got bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's stuff that it really doesn't have anything to do with the game or
at all.
I said,
come on, Luka. how good
good he is. Don't be rooting for Luka.
Yeah, I need 2 assists, bro.
Nah, man, you don't need
I
nothing.
need them to lose,
He
but I
put that.
need
He
2.
put
Oh,
that
they are
down.
losing. They
That's
losing
why he
now,
put that
Al.
down. That's why his rooting interest is with his bets. That's why.
That's the only reason. Ain't no. I don't root for them.
Yeah,
I
So
don't root for them.
hopefully Nate can get down there, close, to us before we go into the stadium, so we can take a Factual Opinions podcast photo.
I'm hoping I'm going down with 3,800 too.
Dang, that's what you got on the game.
No, that's what happened if Luca get 2 assists. We we done made it out.
hey man, let me hold it. Let me hold a couple
I was
dollars.
about to say you can let me hold something.
Right, 3,800. Let me hold a few chips.
Hey y'all forgetting I got a wedding. Come on now.
Man,
Come on now.
Chips and dip.
I give you a little $20 back, funky ass little $20 back. That's all I need.
Oh, no, yeah, it's on me
Oh, I
tomorrow if
can't
that
wait.
happens. If it go down, that's on me tomorrow. Just
I
find
can't
me.
wait.
Just find me.
I finally got my invitation. Did you get yours, Big John?
Yeah, I got it, man.
Y'all RSVP?
Now I got to do that. Well, I got to do that. But I'm
Bruh, why you ain't do it? You seen it?
I did. I apologize. My apologies.
Yeah, Lee.
I ain't really. You know what? Go ahead. Never mind. Go ahead.
I've been to all my partners' weddings, man.
Damn, I just should have put him down for 6. That'd have been cool.
That's kind of emotional, man. When you go to one of your partner's weddings that you grew up with, man, see them standing up there doing something your ass ain't never gonna do. It's
What?
it's an exciting feeling watching all y'all cross that threshold, man. Look at Big John.
Hey man, come on, man. Hurry this shit up. Man.
Look at Big John.
Hurry this shit up, man.
Come on, Luca, pass the ball.
Man, you sound like you poison, man.
Hey,
Man.
I'm the wrong guy to talk about to that right now.
I won't pile on, man.
Hey man, hey.
You see this, Nate? We coming. Especially
Boy,
when
y'all
LeBron.
dropping off like bad habits. Y'all losing right now. I know
That's
y'all up 2 now.
man. They gonna look. They are gonna get it back.
I don't know
together.
what's up with LeBron. LeBron,
Y'all still fourth. They still fourth in the West right now. They ain't fall off too much.
LeBron
yeah,
is 40.
he got 11 points right now. That's not good.
And he's got a pool growing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's still playing, huh?
3 stacks. Read some literature on the subject.
Oh yeah, can't. Yeah, oh, man, Jesus. Surrounded by felons.
Nah, I'm extremely happy for Nate and Miss Amber.
I'm happy for my brother too.
And I'm even more ecstatic that there's an open bar at his wedding.
Yeah.
Hey, can I get a picture, Nate, with you and Amber at the reception, man?
We're gonna do the we're gonna go do the table thing where everybody go around the tables, take a picture with everybody. That's gonna be the easy way to do it.
Nice. Get a picture with Mr. and Mrs. West.
Remember, it's black. Y'all gotta wear black. Remember, all black, please.
All right.
It's a black tie affair. Because if you got yellow,
I'm
sending you home.
Don't be happy. See? Don't be happy, man. Don't be happy, man.
Hey, Ken always on some
That's bullshit, man. But nah, man, Kent has been. Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Brother, it still has been my therapist at West High. So
I know, bro. I already know.
He kind of warned me before it happened. So I will say that he gave me
Come on, Luca, what you doing?
He kind of warns you.
See, I'm. Go. But I'm just saying this in the midst of. But yeah.
Ain't giving no cash out or nothing.
Well, that's crazy because I wanted to get this episode in and talk about a few things, which we did. But Yeah, it was.
Almost my bedtime too.
It was a tough one because I know all of us,
We dragging today.
Next episode, I think me and Big John was talking about we should be back in the studio, so that'll help with the presentation too. So, as usual, I want to remind everybody, please, if you're not able to stream the live stream or watch that again at work or wherever you are, the audio this time, will be back on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. So we're everywhere. Please feel free to subscribe to all of them, as well as the YouTube channel, and share, like. We appreciate that. So go on and let these brothers get off to bed so we can be charged up for the opening day festivities, man.
I'm ready. I ain't been to opening day in years, so I'm ready. I'm definitely ready.
Yeah,
you ain't never been to opening day.
I have been to opening day. It's been a little minute though.
I mean, you ain't been out with us. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, I ain't been out with y'all for opening day. I ain't been a little minute.
Yeah, that's what I want to do because I need to make it festive because this is gonna be the first opening day without my dad that I've gone to in person. So I'm looking to make it into a joyful experience and a tribute to Big Dave, while doing so. So, again, we are going to
be down there with moms with me. So we good.
Yes, bring Miss Sylvia too. Her son gonna be acting up down there with me. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and sign out, y'all. Appreciate everybody who did stop through. The views are appreciated.
Oh my gosh, one more, Al. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I ain't turning my hat down. It is what it is.
I can't get him on that.
He's annoying, bro. He's petty, bro. See, that's what.
We'll see you tomorrow too, bro.
He's one of the few Taft guys I like, so he get a pass.
Come on,
they
Luke,
be down there.
Yeah, they will be. They're gonna be there for sure.
I need one more assist, Luca. Come on, one more. This might go into overtime.
He ain't helping this Celtics fan out. So it's your host.
Man, that hurt. You just go shoot it down, bro. That hurt.
Signing out with the Brown Bruce Wayne, Big John.
Yes, sir.
Will West, the best Nate.
You know it.
We'll make it up next time.